Oh, why, thank you. That's nice. There's a little branded card here with a little thank you note. Okay, let's put that aside for now. I guess it's protected here. Yeah, so we can lift it up like this. Before I unwrap this, I just want to take a quick look underneath because there's a little thing here. I'm not entirely sure if this is the intended way of doing that. So I'm just gonna... Okay, as we've done that, we should be able to unravel potentially the charging cable and the instruction manual. Let's see. Yes, we've got a full set of accessories that come with the RG Rotate. There is also a screen protector bundled. I've got a third-party one already, so we will see how both of these will turn out. I will put this aside for now, and let's just see. There's a lanyard here, so it's very nice that this is included. And then we've got I believe those are the shoulder buttons, the replacement shoulder buttons, those that are supposed to be a little bit taller than the regular ones. That's okay. And then we have the charging cable. It's a short USB-C charging cable. And then we have of course, the complementary wipes to be able to apply the screen protector, which we're gonna do in just a little while. And lastly, there is the instruction manual, which I presume to include all of the information that most of us already know. So that's that. Let's just move on to unraveling the device itself. Let's just leave the screen protector here, because we're going to apply it in a minute. So yeah, this is going to be satisfying. Watch this. Wow, that looks slick. Wow. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do actually is to apply the screen protector. So let's just be quick about it. We've got our device here with the screen pointing downwards, and we've got our screen protector here. As you can see on the screen protector, we've got the back. This is going to stick to the RG Rotate, and here is the front, which is going to be facing that way. So, pardon me, this is the fastest way to do that. It's not the best way to do that. The best way to do that is the hinge method, which you can see linked here in the video and underneath it. Let me just show you how to do this the quickest way. This is going to be peeled off by me in a very short while and is going to reveal the sticky surface. Once the sticky surface is revealed, then we're going to place it just on the screen and just gently, ever so gently pat it so that it has no bubbles underneath. Yeah, we've rotated the device, and then I'm going to just use the dry one, as there doesn't seem to be a lot of dirt on the screen for now. So, we've got the screen completely clear, or as clean as it can be, and then we can just peel this off here, and then just very carefully place this on top of the RG Rotate. Now, this is going to stick in place, and you need to make sure it's absolutely positioned correctly. And as long as you've done this, more or less like, symmetrically, it's all good. So here now, the bubbles have disappeared. There were no bubbles to begin with, but if for some reason you got bubbles underneath your screen, then what you're going to have to do is to use either a wipe, either a microfiber cloth, and just gently massage them outwards, so that they disappear. So yeah, let's see how it turned out. It's almost perfect. Well, none of the things in life are really perfect. So, now that we have the screen protector applied, let's just get to the meat and potatoes, as they say. This is the very first flip, so let's just get this out of the way. And I can tell you right away that this feels very satisfying. And it feels almost exactly the same as I anticipated it while looking for, you know, various reviews. It doesn't really feel, you know, flimsy, or it doesn't feel like it's low quality. So aside from that, let's take a closer look at the device. We've got the back, and on the back we've got the inline shoulder buttons here. So we've got the, as you saw before, we've got the replacement ones available here. All this is about those buttons that are closer to the middle here, because you can replace those with versions that are a little bit taller, so they stand out more, and they are, I guess, easier to press for you if you're just, you know, doing this blindly because the screen is in the way. So if you prefer those to be like a little bit higher than this, then you can, I guess, sacrifice some portability for more comfort in that matter. So yeah. On the back, we can see, besides the shoulder buttons, the USB-C port and what I believe to be a charging indicator. So yeah, that's all that there is on this side. And here is the small, like, part of the hinge mechanism, making sure that the display doesn't go any further once it snaps back. So here is the bottom. On the bottom here, there is nothing. I would love to see an audio jack here, but there is nothing here. It's completely flat. And then on the left side, we've got the micro SD slot and the volume buttons. There are two volume buttons here. And there is like a kind of a little bit of space in the middle, but this space in the middle, I think, is not clickable by itself. So there is a little volume rocker here. On this side, on the right side, we've got the power button and this button, which is pretty interesting because this button is supposed to be able to bring you to the custom launcher of your choice. So you end up in the Android launcher by default, and then you press this button, I think twice, and it will bring you to the launcher of your choice with your game lists and whatnot. On the back of the device, which is also almost, yeah, it's perfectly flat. Aside from these little guys here are the only thing that makes this device not perfectly flat. I think these are to just ensure that the audio from the speaker doesn't get muffled, or, well, it will get muffled, but will get less muffled when the device is lying flat on the table like this. And here we've got the basic information about the device, as you would expect, and 4 screws that can be unscrewed to just unravel the battery and the insides of this device. This is the main speaker here. You can see the speaker grill. And that's pretty much it. The shoulder buttons, as you can see here, have just a little bit of travel to them, but otherwise they are simple switches. Nothing really to write home about. And that's it, yeah. If you hold it in your right hand, you can easily flip it open with one hand, and then you can flip it close. I don't really see any issue with flipping it either open or close using one hand. It's very convenient. It works very well. It's very satisfying. It's got that fidget toy, factor to it. I could do this all day. I probably shouldn't, but I probably will. So yeah, that's that. When it comes to the buttons, because we haven't spoken about the buttons yet, the buttons are, well, my first impressions are that those buttons are clicky. They are like PlayStation Vita kind of clicky, if you know what I mean. They aren't like the loud kind of clicky, besides this button here, which is the home or return button. And aside from these buttons here, start and select buttons, these are louder. These are noticeably louder than the D-pad and those face buttons. Here is a little sample for you. These have a very satisfying click to them, for me, and these are just like, regular buttons that you would expect to find here. This edge is also a pretty fun idea. It makes it a little bit, more pleasant to hold this handheld like this, because you can, if you're not using the buttons here, you can rest your fingers in this way. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the, the overall build of the device. While the screen is out, the device looks like this. You've got that, a little bit of a gap here, but nothing too crazy. And that's pretty much it. There are also 2 screws here, which I believe would be useful to us if we are to disassemble the screen. So, as they say, let's just fire this thing up.
Fire this thing up? Get a load of this guy!
Yeah, the first thing that we're going to get through is the basic system setup. So we can choose our language here, which is going to be English. Yeah. Then we need to connect to the Wi-Fi. The OTA updates I know work very well on these devices, so there's not going to be an issue here. We're just gonna wait for that to finish. And after a while, this is what we got. So I'm not entirely sure if things are going the right way, but I guess we will give it a few minutes. Maybe opening the screen will... No, it's hanging. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's flickering like crazy. Doesn't fill me with hope, but maybe it will disappear. No, it does not disappear actually. It's flickering like crazy. You probably cannot see this on the camera. Oh, and now it stopped. So I guess that was just a... No, it's flickering here too. It's not flickering on the lock screen though. Perhaps a quick reboot will fix that. Let's see. And we've got flicker here, so yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like 2 hours have passed and I've had a few issues with this thing. Not like really, you know, huge issues. But the screen flicker, quite interestingly, the screen flicker has... I think it has disappeared actually. And it was very noticeable. I know I'm not crazy, it was very noticeable. And now it's gone. It's gone on all of the surfaces, gray surfaces that it was visible on. So I guess that's that. Off screen, I've installed one additional app, which is the official Pico 8 app. This console has a 1:1 display, which Pico 8 has, 1:1 aspect ratio by default. So you can use just that to, scale the console as you like. So yeah, you can do that thing when you're gaming on the go, and now suddenly you want to just flip it closed, then, put it in your pocket, go about your day, and then just, quickly come back to the game you've been playing. And it should, in theory, work with all emulators. So yeah, gaming on this is really pleasant. You can see how fast it responds when I open and close it, So we can just quickly jump in and out of the game. I didn't notice it bugging out at any point, even when doing this in a quick succession. And then there is the whole idea of pre-installed Anbernic apps. We've got the Anbernic AI, which is supposed to... Oh, this is so small. Which is supposed to help you with AI translation and I guess a few other things. And a few other pre-installed apps, including some kind of, I guess, Chinese app store. I think that's what it is. I'm not entirely sure. Then there is the music app, which is quite interesting because there is no audio jack. So you'd have to use external adapters to listen to music using wired headphones on this device. And then we have the Casio player, which is another music player, which is supposed to look like that kind of a retro-based app. It's very nice overall, but I don't think, that listening to music is going to be my primary use for this device. There is also the possibility to, of course, update the software over the air, so you don't have to insert a micro SD card to do your update or connect it to your computer. Then we have of course, the gamepad tester utility. You can check if all of your controls here work correctly. So that's another thing. And then, of course, I've already logged in to my Google account on this one. You can also use the Play Store as you'd like. You can install apps as long as those apps are compatible with Android 12. And of course, you can use the internet here. So you can, access the browser and do whatever you'd like to do. Of course, you cannot update Chrome to the newest version as it no longer supports Android 12. But besides that, you're free to do whatever you want. It's an Android device, after all. So that's that. The basic system apps are there, but they are, pretty bare bones. Nothing really to see here. Other than that, you can disable all of the apps you don't want to be using or you're not going to be using. If you disable those apps, they will disappear from the app drawer or from the main screen. And you also can uninstall the system apps that are included here. Well, not system apps, but the additional apps that come with the RG Rotate. And I think that pretty much every app here, including, you cannot obviously remove the essential apps, but most of the apps here are, in Gamepad Tester is also an essential app. Most of the apps here can be easily removed without you needing to, deal with all the things you might consider bloatware. So in terms of that, full customizability. And of course, here you have all those settings that have to do, with the fact that this is an Android device. So you have access to Bluetooth, you can use Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth headphones with it. You have, the eye comfort shield, whatever. You have the option, which is very interesting one, the option to map the hardware keys to the places on your screen. So that can come in handy if you're playing Android games that do not officially natively support controllers. So that's a pretty good addition. I haven't tested it yet, but it's good that it's here and it comes pre-installed. And we have also a full set of pre-installed emulators, which is, if you don't want to tinker a lot, if you don't want to, install all of those yourself, then I guess you could make do with all the, all the emulators that are already here. For example, with the AYM4, this handheld comes without any emulators pre-installed, so you have to do all the work yourself. Here, you can just, access all of those, change the settings, everything is pre-installed for you out of the box. Of course, if you want the specific versions of those, you'd have to install them by hand. While you can play games from the PSP catalog, from GameCube catalog, and from Dreamcast, the square screen isn't really the perfect format to do this. I think this will mostly be usable for the original Game Boy, for Pico 8, as I already mentioned, and for systems that can make use of this one-to-one screen real estate, and will do so in a satisfying way. And I of course also believe that there are many Android games that can fit very well on a screen of this aspect ratio. If you have any recommendations, you can leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out. And then there is the second launcher. As you can see, there's this button here. If we press and hold it, this will take us to the RG launcher. And the RG launcher is, is supposed to be the main gaming view here. I haven't got any game backups, ROMs copied over to this device, so every single library here is going to be empty. But once you upload those ROMs to the RG Rotate, they will be visible here. One thing is that I noticed that when I try to refresh the library, it's telling me that it's going to pull the ROMs from the TF card, so from the micro SD. I don't think you can place the ROMs in the internal memory, or maybe there is a way, but I haven't found it yet. So once you have your ROMs here, you can just hit X and then hit confirm, and the frontend should scan, all of your files compatible with the systems it supports. There's also a file search here, and there are some pretty bare bones settings, like settings that have to do with the theme style. You can change some default themes here, possibly upload themes. There are media settings, if you want to have background music or not, some very, very simple settings, including the most important menu, where you just choose what kind of emulators you want to be visible in the menu. So we can freely turn on and off each of the emulators here. and depending on that, different things will be displayed in the main menu. So as you can see, while we are in this view, in this launcher, we cannot really go back to the main Android view by any, regular means. Even if we try to do this, well, we cannot do anything about the fact that we are in the launcher. Well, mainly because this is our main launcher now. This button is just setting the RG launcher as our main device launcher. So if you want to get out of that, you need to just press and hold this button again, and you'll be back to the regular Android launcher. So yeah, overall this is a very interesting handheld, despite the issues I had with it. One of the main issues I had was the issue with the screen flickering, which was rather concerning. I thought that something was wrong either with the screen or with the software update. I didn't really find what caused it, it just went away on its own, so that's that. And the second issue was that, well, I faced a few crashes. I faced a few crashes that I read about over on Reddit some time ago. Crashes that possibly have to do with Google Play services crashing in the background. So that's another thing that has to be mentioned here. Since then, since, like an hour, I haven't faced any more crashes, but we'll see how it goes over the next month or so when I'll be testing this device. We'll see how reliable it is, in terms of it being able to quickly go in and out of sleep, in terms of, if it's going to be reliable enough to essentially be a small pocket daily driver for on-the-go emulation, because that's the main goal I have in mind for this device. I will obviously do a follow-up on this video in which I'm going to share with you all my thoughts after some time will pass. I'll customize the device, install some apps, and then, live with it for a little while, and we'll see how it turns out. For now, I think this is a pretty neat device. It's very, pleasant to do this. Like I said, I could do this all day long. It feels very nice. The overall, case feels very nice in hands. The buttons are very good quality, in my eyes at least. So let's give it some time, and then we'll see how it performs.